Good morning, everyone. My name is William Schmit. I'm sitting here in the office of the Toledo Homesite Farming and Ecology Center, which has sponsored the Toledo Eco-tourism Association. They have their office next door. In between our offices is the office of DAVCO, the Toledo Association of District Councils. Our friend Jason Barubi has just interviewed one of the village council chairmen, Mr. Salvador Cal from Aguacate Village. They had just finished watching a video that was made by our chairperson, Mr. Reyes Chun. He's the district chairman of the association. We are in Toledo, the southern district of Belize, Central America. Within this district there are 60 communities, and the Toledo Eco-tourism Association has organized groups in 20 of them, 1/3 of the district. Mr. Ekal, the village council chairman, democratically elected by his people, sworn into office by the government, he and other chairmen have written their association, and Mr. Wana, president, given an excellent letter of recommendation for the program after their executive council reviewed the information and gave us the support for the development of the Toledo People's Eco Park, which has as part of its 4 major industries tourism. This is the main program of the tourism industry is the Toledo Guest House Village Eco Trail program. And this program won the world's top prize in Germany in 1997 for the most socially responsible tourism program. Now, the Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization of the United Nations, he made a special effort to attend the largest tourism trade show in the world in Berlin to actually make the presentation of this to-do prize award. And he said that he had other plans which he postponed because of the importance of this award, because the Mayans of southern Belize have shown the world that tourism does not have to be destructive. That was his statement. German ZDF television, public television, had a travel show which was the most popular show in Europe and one of the most popular in the world. And they decided to change their policy and do a whole show on the Toledo Eco-tourism Association. Previous to this, a German professor had come and spent 12 days in the guest houses with the people, interviewing our guests, reading the hundreds and hundreds at that time we had of visitor reports, handwritten testimonials. We have well over 1,000 now. And he felt that it was the best program in the world that they've found. And we did win this prize. When we came back home, the Belize Tourist Board, under the direction of Mr. Kevin Gonzalez, refused to put it in the paper that the Mayans had won this world prize. When our friend Meb Kutlak, journalist, exposed this in the Reporter newspaper saying, how could this happen? The Belize Tourist Board released a press release saying we had won the prize, but the first press release said nothing about it, only about the large resorts that had their tables there. When the television crew came to film the Village Guest House Eco Trail program in '97, Kevin Gonzalez and the Belize Tourist Board told them that they would have to go up north and show the foreign resorts, that they couldn't show the Indians because of the conditions that they live in and the poverty and all this, that nobody wants to see that, and they didn't want that out in the world. We lost our opportunity then in '97 to end our poverty here and to really make a difference in conservation of natural resources, flora and fauna, endangered, and the culture, to get out of poverty and lead the world in really responsible tourism. and conservation community-based. But we lost that. Then the TEA got a grant for $300,000 to try the pilot project of the Eco Park. And $200,000 of that was taken from us by the NGO that was implementing the program. $100,000 was used to rebuild 10 of our guest houses after Hurricane Iris destroyed them. It was all accounted for. The other $200,000 TEA never got. It was taken by the NGO. The government did not support our request for help in getting justice, getting it back. They let it go. The struggle that the people here have had trying to get assistance is horrendous and long. In 20 years this association has been established, and what's happened is that our program will change the status quo here. Our program will change the system. It'll be true democratic democracy, generated from the community, from local government right up to national government. And they don't want that. They want to keep it in this colonial state that it's in now. I lived 20 years in British Honduras, in a colony of British Honduras, and then I've lived 20 years in the independent state of Belize right now. Very little has changed in the administration or the government and many of the opportunities. The whole thing is pretty much the colonial system. And our system represents true democracy and the true independent beliefs that we want and that we need. And they won't let us try our system. Now, you've heard from Reyes Chun, and you've heard from Wanak, and you've heard from Mr. Salvador Cal. My little part to tell you about is a recent act of gross discrimination and a gross violation of our human rights in this district. Recently we had a visit from a group of master's students from George Washington University, Institute of Tourism. They were invited by Ms. Selani Matos, Director of the Belize Tourist Board, and the Minister of Tourism, to come to Toledo and to meet the people and to look at what we have to offer and to make recommendations for the development plan for our development. Mr. Reyes Chun, the chairman of the TEA, and I were so excited because we'd been told by the CEO of tourism, Mr. Lindsay Garber, that he would send these students and they would interview us and that they would help to prepare our program in a way that was suitable for funding and for the government to incorporate in the National Tourism Plan. But when they came, there were only 4 came to see us of the 7 that came. They said they were only here to talk about the Village Guest House Eco Trail program and not the Eco Park program. Mr. Chun gave them each a copy of our briefing booklet that tells all about the history and the prices and the visitor reports and everything, and said that this will give you all you need to know unless you have questions about it. We'd love to tell you about our tourism development plan for the district. They said, we can't talk to you about that. We said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, we've had our whole schedule and who we're supposed to meet has all been laid out. And we won't have, we don't have the Eco Park on the agenda. So we said, this is very strange because you're experts in sustainable community-based ecotourism, and we are the only organization in Toledo like that. And we have 20 years of volunteer administration and the world prizes, the Conte Nas prize for this Eco Park plan, and you can't meet with us? Why don't you come for dinner? Nature's Way would invite you for a spaghetti dinner, and we can tell you about the park. You're going to love it. We really want your comments and questions. Sorry, Mr. Schmit, every night is booked up. We won't have a single evening free to meet with you. I said, this is not right. This is a violation of these people's human rights to economic development. If you don't meet with them and hear about their plans, how can they implement them? How can they get them in the program? Well, that's not our concern because we are here to do what we were invited here, and we're here to do what the government has asked us to do. And we don't know what to say. So I said, this is gross discrimination, and we don't blame you, students from George Washington University, because you were invited by our government. And it's not your fault that we were excluded and that you cannot meet with us and talk to us about our plan. And it's a shame that you were duped in this way by the government. I'm sure you wouldn't want to participate in discrimination. And one of the visitors was a black American. She looked at me with deep empathy and sympathy and said, I understand what you're saying. I understand what's going on. I'm very sorry. So I went to see the professor who is in charge of the group who helped organize that. And I have her card right here. And her name is Kristen M. Lamborex, PhD, Director of the International Institute of Tourism Studies, School of Business, George Washington University. I asked her how she could be a teacher of sustainable community-based ecotourism, and they didn't even visit the first guest house of the TEA, which has been in operation for 20 years, and interview the farmers, see that they haven't left their farming, interview all the people in the village and see that they feel they've all benefited from this program, and that they're happy with it after 20 years of self-administration. They administered it themselves. Well, she said maybe she'll see what she could do, but they have a very tight schedule. They invited me to go, Mr. Chun and I, to go to the end of their research and give a little talk, and we sat there, and you know, they didn't say one word about the TEA, about the Village Guest House program, not one word. There were only 2 other Mayan persons in the room out of about 50 people, and they were from the chocolate program. When they're going to push the chocolate program, said not a word about the guest house. So this is gross discrimination, and it's a violation of the people's basic human right to economic development. By leaving them out of this study and not interviewing, they can say we didn't know about it. If people say, why didn't you try this park? Why didn't you try the pilot project? It's because, well, we didn't know about it. But let me tell you, they know about it now because I personally told them and Mr. Chun personally told them, and they said they were sympathetic and they were sorry and that there was nothing they could do, and we understand that. We're not blaming George Washington University or these students. We're thankful that they came to help our country. We think it's a window into the type of discrimination we face, a window that Ms. Matos from the Belize Tourist Board opened for them, that shows the kind of discrimination we have been facing. Now I have an article here from last week's, was it last week? Let's see. It was July 13th, and it says, I think you'll have backlight on your camera here, but it says Belize has $26 million to spend on the Master Tourism Plan. Belize City, Ambergris Caye, Placencia, and Cayo are top spots. $26 million. And how much did the poorest people of the country? We just got a census, just came out last month, after 10 years. 10 years ago we had 52.8% indigent. It's not poor. Poor was around 76%. These are extremely poor people, 52.8% in this district, in the rural villages. Malnutrition, 3 out of 10 children, malnutrition to the state of mental retardation. Serious, serious need out there from the young people, the children, the mothers, fathers. They're hurting bad. And they have an award-winning tourism program to help them get out of poverty. It's combined with a fantastic conservation program to help them fight global warming. Each community has an iguana breeding program and a turtle program and other animal programs that they They raise these animals and release them. They have a reforestation program, each community. They have a fantastic plan to save nature, to save their culture, to get out of poverty. And how much do they get for the $26 million that the IDB bank? These funders are guilty of this gross discrimination. They know where their money is going. They say they can't do anything about it. That's not true. They review every grant request. They negotiate with the government. They could say that a fair share of this government, of this aid money for the country, should go to Toledo and the poor people in Toledo to help themselves. And it doesn't. Nothing out of the $26 million went to the Toledo Eco-tourism Association that has 20 groups, 7 operating guest houses. Nothing. Their road is going through to Guatemala in the west. It's part of the free trade zone of the Americas, part of the Pueblo to Panama plan. Excuse me. That road is opening up this district. It will go right through 7 villages. No one is helping these people prepare for it. No one is helping them learn what's going to happen about the potential negative effects. Our plan addresses them. We have a letter from the University of London School of Asian and African Studies that has looked at this plan and says that unless something like this or something like it is done, Toledo will pay the price. We'll lose everything. No tourist attractions, no wildlife, no forests. It'll all be destroyed because of the fragile nature of our environment here. We're on a critical point here. And we're addressing this to people in America that belong to organizations that care about indigenous people, care about justice, care about the development of democracy, care about global warming, care about helping people restore the quickly vanishing biodiversity. These people that are giving all this money to these NGOs that drive around the district here in brand new 4-wheel drive trucks, in big air-conditioned offices, with all the volunteers constantly, what do they produce for the people? The census just came out. The people are poorer now than they've ever been before. They're not talking about the employees of the NGOs, the directors and secretaries and receptionists and people that guard the forest preserves that they maintain. This has gone along far enough. These people deserve a fair chance. They deserve a share of foreign aid that comes to them. They have a plan. They're only asking for the pilot project, which is just 3 villages, to show how 3 villages can work together to do this. They're using land that is not agricultural land, but is superb for conservation and ecotourism. We have an urban component in Punta Gorda town that involves the East Indian, the Garifuna, the Maya, the Quechua, and the Creole peoples, even the foreigners like myself here. We have a program that involves everybody. It's community-based, and the government will not support it. They won't even allow these students to look at it. Gross violation. These students were duped. Now we're asking our good friend Jason Ruby, who's come to Belize many times, who has deep feeling for the Mayans here. He's gone up to see cultural survival already. He's tried in the past very hard. He's helped us in many ways. But he's shooting this right now. His whole family is outside waiting to go on their trip. They have to get north. They have a lot to do. But just like the last time he was here, he interrupted his business and his trip to make a special video of Mr. Ock when they first came into the office that's going to be incorporated with this video, with Mr. Reyes Chun's video, and the words of our friend Salvador Ical. And we're going to try and put all this together and show it to people who care. Because let me go one step further. It's not just to help the indigenous and other peoples of Toledo or to save the endangered rainforest, the mini hotspot we have here, biodiversity of marine and terrestrial. But it's to show that people can operate democracy in small groups. How can we be in Afghanistan and Iran and these countries, Iraq, and be pushing democracy if it can't even happen in a little country like this of 300,000 people right next to America? Is this a democracy or isn't it? These people have passed every test. They have gone through the process. They have elected their democratically elected grassroots community leaders. village council chairman. They have taken the time to study this program and to recommend it to government and ask our Honorable Prime Minister, Dean Barrow, please treat them as citizens. How do you think, I will address this to the Belizeans who might watch this video. How do you think a Mayan woman or man who is in the Belize Defense Force, an officer, a non-com or a regular soldier, or in the police force, or in the fire department, or in any other public service operation, how about a teacher in the school? How do you think these Belizeans feel when they see their people back home? Mom and dad and the kids that are still in the village being treated this way. Do you think they feel like the Creole? No, the Creole doesn't have this. It's only the Garifuna and the Indians that are being discriminated against. Belizeans of Mayan and Garifuna ancestry and heritage, proud heritage. This is gross discrimination. It's a gross violation of the basic human right to economic development. We plead with you who are watching this, help us. Just like Mr. Akal said, help us. Help us, because without your help out there writing the Prime Minister and writing the Minister of Tourism in Belmopan, the Prime Minister is Honorable Dean Barrow, B-A-R-R-O-W. The Belize Tourist Board, just letters coming from the Rainforest Alliance people or the International Survival people, Survival International, saying we will come to this park if you set it up. We will let our children go to educational, adventure education courses that they have planned to run through these community conservation areas. We will support this if you let it happen. And we also will protest this discrimination and gross violation of basic human rights if you do not support it. That's what people up there can do. At a minimum, they can write our government and tell them about it. Please help us. And if this works here, it could be an example for our whole country. Every community getting community conservation areas. This could go into neighboring countries in Central America, and this could be the beginning of something that could really go around the world. We think it's that big. Here in Belize and Toledo, we have Indians from India, Africans, Indigenous, mixtures of all these people, Europeans, North Americans, South Americans. We really have everybody in the world represented here. This is like a stage, and the actors are representing the world. And they're living in these conditions in these rural villages where they haven't changed much yet. They're ready for change. It could go into the good change, or it could go into the bad one. Right now it's headed 100 miles an hour for the bad one. It'll be a destruction of the nature and their culture and their people. Prostitution, alcoholism, drug addiction, crime. It's called urbanization. They'll be out in the swamps. They'll be in the garbage dumps like they are in other countries in Central America, where they've been moved out of their villages. Don't let this happen. We can change this. We need your help. Please help Jason with his efforts to get the people who could make a difference, to find the people. It's hard. I've done it myself. I've gone to America with great high hopes, and I've lectured to women's clubs and utilitarian churches and, oh my God, everything. I don't know. I didn't have the video. I didn't have the people speaking for themselves in English, showing them their families. Hopefully this great tool and the computer and the internet and people like Jason and others from outside who will help us will make this happen. It has to happen right away, because their plan is going to happen if we don't get our plan. And their plan will put the rich richer and keep the poor getting poorer. Right? Thanks a lot, everybody.
And I want to thank you, Chet, for doing such a spot-on job for breaking down the issues and what can be done. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening.